Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. So we are bellying up to the bar, maybe get a couple belly laughs. Look at that. As cheesy as I can get it to sound like, as a dad, I can do all these horrible dad jokes. It's the best. So we are combining the two perfect elements. It's like the perfect storm. When you think about PC and then you think about comedy, we have combined the perfect storm. We brought that storm. It's what would we call it? I don't know. We'll call it something, but we're going to call this Hurricane Jennifer because she's bringing.
It won't be the first time.
Shit's a hurricane. We'll get into all this, but we have brought with us one of Albany's celebrity-owned stand-up comedians. Albany's own. Look at this. You know, you can find her at all the greatest elk lodges. VFWs, because we're Albany. We had a comedy club. I think we got one left, and we had another one, which I'll tell you a funny story about that. But we have brought with us today Jennifer McMullen. So you got your blur background on, and as you're doing that, your hands are blurring.
That's so funny. Oh yeah, right. I forgot. Yeah, I had to blur out the mess. Well, I mean the home.
So Jennifer's joining us today. She is a local Albany stand-up comedian. And can we say what you do that pays the bills? Can we say it? We'll say
yeah, sure.
And she's an HR professional. That's why I said it's the perfect storm between HR and and comedy, like two groups that are supposed to be like very
separated.
Like you can't tell that joke. Want to see? Want to watch me?
Not here in the office, but catch me later at the Funny Bone.
It's almost like the ultimate version of when people are like, somebody found my TikTok. Uh-oh. It's like, oh shit, you showed up with my comedy show. My bad.
Exactly. I've had those moments.
Oh, it's so great. Well, I can still remember first time I saw you was at Miranda Van Frick's event. I saw you, I laughed, and I was like, yeah, I got to talk to this lady, see if I can get her to come on the show and hang out with us. So we're getting ready to make this thing happen. So let's do some house cleaning so we can get into talking about how, like, there's certain things I definitely want to know about. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't think I could ever write a joke. I can make fun of people. I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't write it. Yeah. I think I think it's most people like, I'm funny. No, you make fun of people's disabilities and stuff like that. You're not really funny. There's nothing genius about it. So we're going to get into some house cleaning. First things first, for those of you that are out there listening, if you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you go to all your yard sale sites and you share this to all those. Do your best to get kicked out of all of them. Let everybody know who Jennifer is so that she can, we're going to move her headliner at the Elks Lodge. I'm sorry, because I know you posted that recently that you were at one and you were like, wow, look at the size of this room. And you were, and the dude, like, and the guy,
they pull in some big crowds.
Well, it was funnier to me was like some guy tried to bust your chops or something like that during that. Was that show?
Oh gosh, it happens often. I don't, the thing is, I don't really I don't get heckled very often. I don't know what it is. That's a good thing. I don't want that to happen.
Right.
But I think if I did, and when I have minimally, I just like ignore them. Like I give them like a psycho stare. Like I'll be like, and I just like same thing I do to my daughter, and then I just keep going.
Oh, you hit him with the parent stare.
Oh, she's crazy.
Hit him with the parent stare. That's
the
a good
parent
one.
Stare. Exactly. Right. It's like, I don't know who you think you are right now, but when we get home, it's like,
just keep your shit up. Just
exactly.
You smile and you talk right through your teeth. Just
else.
keep your shit up.
Something else.
I absolutely understand every bit of that. So let's get into some of this house cleaning real quick so we can get the bar fully open and make things happen for everybody. So as always, folks, if you got a cause, you got something that you're supporting, right over my right shoulder for those of us watching live, that's the big board for sticker and a cause. You reach out to me on our Facebook, our Earplug Podcast page, the Above the Bar Podcast actual page, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. They're all the Above the Bar Podcast. Even our email is the Above the Bar Podcast at gmail.com. You reach out to me. Let me know what you got going on. Send me a message. I'll send you the address where to send the sticker. I'll read about it here. I don't care what it is. Are you a stand-up comedian? We got some of those up there with their stickers. If you're a stand-up comedian, send it to me. If you're another podcaster, if you're, you can't see the board here. Hold on.
That made a huge difference.
It made a huge difference.
Small microphone. That was whoa.
It's like shaving. It made a huge difference. It's my face. I have this great beard. See, I got my own. So you send me out something. We'll go ahead and throw that up there on the board. But again, reach out to us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and we'll talk to you. The other thing is if your media isn't so funny and you need to go ahead and get a better media situation, make sure you reach out to Media by Dibs. Andrew Dibble on LinkedIn and all your other locations. It's Media by Dibs, DIBS. Reach out to Dibs. You mentioned him, hashtag belly up to the bar. He's going to give you a 10% discount on your first order and a free consultation. So once again, that's Media by Dibs. Already got some people sending us messages. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Amanda Love. I did my best Vanna when I did this. And June 5th, here, I'll throw out a quick promo. If you're around, as long as you do it, not until after I get my seats, head out to Donnie Magoo's on June 5th if you like drag shows. Do you like drag shows?
I love drag shows. My goodness.
Then you have to join.
This is perfect. Yeah, this is perfect. I haven't been to one in a long time. We used to do a lot of shows at the Waterworks, and whoa, Rocks and the Waterworks. Holy shit.
Well, you'll have to join us then, because Amanda Love puts on these drag shows, and June 5th, we're going to go out there. It'll be Amanda Love. Who else will be out there? Sherry Love.
Okay. All the Loves, the whole Love family.
The whole Love crew will be out there. Frida Munchon will be out there.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Frida.
Yes.
So they'll all be out there at Donnie Magoo's on June 5th for a brunch. And Donnie's got great food. And it's Cohoes. I mean, good food and Cohoes. Good, figure that. So
poor Cohoes. Aw.
I know. Well, Cohoes is like, Carmi Hope is going to be there too. Carmi has one of the best voices that you will ever hear. Just an amazing voice. So make sure everybody joins. So let's get into this. The bar's open. We have Miss Jennifer. First off, thank you for joining us on this 420.
Thank you for having me.
It's
a fitting day.
I feel like
I got tipped with some marijuana at a show the other night down in Greene County. Yeah. The guy was like, I was sitting at the bar with my friend who came out to see me and her friends, and he comes over and he's like, put your hand out. And I'm like, ooh, no, I mean, I'm interested. I did think I wanted to see like Old Farmer Dick that night, but I wasn't really totally sold, But then when he walked up, I was just like, this is really going to happen. So I put my hand out and he put a nice big old bud right there in my paw. That's time great. For that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I've been paid in it before, but I've never been tipped.
No, what? Did you really? Did somebody at a show try to pay you in weed?
No, well, they stopped. They kind of just stepped up the pay a little bit with a nice little,
Oh, okay.
Baggy. It was all good. It was wonderful. Yeah, super.
I guess that's kind of something you expect. Almost is that like? Now you got me wondering because I wasn't even going to ask you about this.
Yeah,
I remember you showing the picture.
What?
I remember you showing the picture online, But is that like a comedy club thing? Like,
it might be. This was an Irish restaurant down in East Durham. So I don't know that they necessarily walk around tipping people with it there in the restaurant, like on a regular basis. But right. I think he felt very moved by the comedians and the cause. And he was just a really nice guy and wanted to share his crop. So I was like, okay, thank you. Put it in my wallet and,
Oh, that's so great. Like, because that's one of those kind of things where you think about it. Like, I mean, we're so liberal now in New York with it. It's like,
yeah,
like it was just on the news today. Right. They were like, walking the streets of Saratoga, the smell is very different today than it used to be.
I know it's like pastries and weed now. Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, you've got an oh boy and a doobie. you have a
sometimes
little.
simultaneously. Yeah.
Well, you may need them both. So let's get it. So, how long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy for sometimes I don't want to answer it because I'm still like local. I mean, I do travel outside of the state, once in a while, but I don't
Legally,
necessarily
is
like
that legal?
tour. So it's kind of like I want to say 2 years just to make it seem like I haven't done that much yet. But no, I've been doing it. I've been at it probably over 10 years, a little over 10 years. I
Now,
actually did there was a last comic standing contest, Albany version, which was done at the Waterworks, like I was talking about earlier. And my friend Joe was like, you got to do it. You just got to go enter. I was like, oh my God, I did a class one time. I did some open mics. I'm not ready. He's like, oh, you're so funny. You just need to do it. I'm going to do it. You need to do it. I'm like, okay. And I ended up placing second in the whole damn thing out of, I want to say, God, there must have been close to 100 people, I think, that circled through it as the contest went on each, week after week. I think that was 2011 or so that happened.
wow.
So yeah, from that, I just made all kinds of connections locally on the comedy scene, and it just took off from there on the local scene. People just were like throwing me spots and, a couple minutes on their shows, and just kind of, that's where it sort of kicked off.
So that's how it kind of started for you.
For actively performing. Yeah.
So now getting into it, was this something that you grew up and you were like, oh, I'm seeing other comedians, this is something I want to get into? Or were you the class clown? How does it end up that?
Yes, I was class. Well, I think my official title at our senior banquet was like class big mouth or something along those lines. But here comes my damn cat, who may make an appearance. Let her have her quick moment. Here she is.
Do what you got to do.
Now you got to go. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah. So my mother actually, many, many years ago, found a comedy class up in Saratoga, which was at the Saratoga Arts Theater, and with Catherine Mora, who's was my first outside of the family and friend group mentor. And she ran the class, and I met some local comedians in that class as well that I still work with. But I took the class, and I remember saying to my mom, like, she can't, like, they can't teach me how to be funny. She's like, oh, it's not about that. It's about teaching you how to present the material. Like, how do you get up on stage and make this funny thought you had, be relatable to the audience, or the audience to find it humorous. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And that's exactly what it did. It took my crazy thoughts and my little stories, my funny stories, and my self-deprecation, and it taught me how to deliver it, I guess, instead of just sort of sitting around entertaining people for free at work, which is what I typically did. And my friends, we just, I was always definitely, I would say I've been the loud. I think they would all agree. Some of them might be on here and they can agree and attest to that.
Well, those that are on here, we got 8 people watching right now.
Oh my God, I'm a fucking celebrity.
Full
I have
blown
made
celebrity.
it.
You've made it. But look, you've doubled all of our viewers. I always say, there's only 4 people watching. Don't worry about it. 3 of them are related to me. One just stumbled across the show. So that's the way. But that's a good question. So when you're getting out there to do your comedy, and you're thinking about, we always hear the saying, people's biggest fears in life are public speaking. So, I mean, to me, I can stand up in front of a whole group of people. It's no big deal. It means absolutely nothing to me. But if I had to stand up in front of a group of people and deliver material that I put my work into for that and hope that they reacted to it, where does that come from? Because that's totally different than just.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think more so, and obviously, like, I've tried to either build on some of my really good solid bits over the years, really enhance those and just play off of them a little bit more, because they're good and they hit and they work pretty much every time. But it's like, you can't get up and do the same stuff all the time, especially on the local scene, because people that have come out and seen me 10 and 12 times could probably get up and do my routine themselves. If anything happened to me, I'd be like, have to tag one of them in and ask them to go up and do it.
Come on up here. Right. I gotta go pee. Finish this up for me.
Exactly. But no, there is writing involved. And, all of the comedians that I've been friends with for many years, they've always said to me, like, oh, you got to write more. You got to write more. You got to do, we want to hear new stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're right. And they are right. But I don't know that I don't I'm definitely, I wouldn't say I am a joke writer, but I'm not like a setup punch comic, which you kind of saw. I mean, you got a taste at the event that you were at. I'm a little bit more of a storyteller. I just kind of recap a funny experience that I had, but there's facial expressions, there's voice inflections, there's different things that sort of go into, performing that story. And I can, like, sometimes when I am jotting notes down, like, I'll have to write, like, act out. Like, I have to sort of remind myself that you're supposed to do something at that moment. I don't just get up and go, and then when I was at the store, this happened. I'm like, I'm laughing, I'm making faces. I don't know, it just sort of comes together. I definitely need to write more, but I guess to answer your question, when I do write, when I do really think about like a joke from sort of start to finish, it's taking a funny thought that just came through my head all of a sudden, or something that I just randomly said to friends or coworkers, especially my mom. If my mom laughs at something, I'm like, I got to write that down because she's just so funny. The funniest. But I just sort of take that funny thought and then I have to just run it through like, okay, so what am I going to do with this on stage? But I don't like to overthink things. I don't like to overthink my material. I like it to flow. It has to be my own. People are always like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And it's not that they're wrong. And I guarantee if I had probably listened to some people over the years, maybe they would have even been funnier, but it's not me. So I can't do it. Like if someone says, you should do this instead of this in this joke, I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. I'm never fucking doing that.
Right.
Keep doing my jokes the way I want to do them because it has to be authentic. It has to be.
It has to feel like yours.
Yeah.
It has to feel like yours.
Yeah.
See, I get that completely. I hear people are like, hey, you should change your show and you should do other things.
Like,
no.
Thank you.
And a lot of times I'll be like, oh, that's a great, and I have, like, I won't say that I haven't never, like, changing the names of how I do certain things, but for the most part, when people are like, you really should, nope,
no, I'm not doing that. Right. Nope.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I love you and thank you.
Respect you greatly.
Yeah, that's. But I'm gonna let you let me go now.
My mom's I'm trying to get her in the link here.
Do we need to should we send her the StreamYard link and just let her just sit in with us?
I was doing. All right, I'll figure. I don't want to take away. Yeah. That's not nice in a podcast.
But now, so your comedy is more, like you said, it's more storytelling type stuff.
Definitely.
I gotta ask, because you are in HR, do you ever draw from that? Like, I have my degree, and then you talked about cats. Mine's at my feet right now going.
Yeah. Like, they always want to be included, right?
Yeah, they need to be on the show. But do you ever draw from that, or is that one of those kind of things where for you it's kind of a taboo? Like, I can't, I don't want this, because I know I've listened to friends that are in the HR world that tell me stories, and I go, that can't be real. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, you know what people have to know or should know about HR people is majority of us are crazy. Like
the most non-PC people I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Sound effects. I can't wait for everyone to make fun of me for those. No, like they're
the worst.
Yeah, but so the HR people that I haven't connected with over the years are the stiff ones, the ones that are like, that was not appropriate, Jennifer. They're the ones that I'm like, we're done. Like first couple minutes in the conversation, like we're not going to bond at this HR retreat we're at. It's not happening. You're not my people. It's the ones that are like, can we get the fuck out of here and go smoke this joint because I'm going to lose my mind. Those are the ones that I'm like, these are my people, But but I think that's part of it. Like, I'm definitely not your typical HR person, and I have been fortunate and blessed over the years to be able to land HR positions in companies and organizations where they actually like the fact that I'm a stand-up comedian. I know I've been overlooked over the years because I always put it on my resume because I think it's important. Yeah. It shows you that I can get up in front of a room full of strangers and just talk and maybe bomb or, maybe get booed out, whatever the case is going to be, but I'm not afraid to get up there and do it.
Right.
So, I think that it's a bonus. It shows that I have a sense of humor, that I can, kind of roll with things, and I'm not an uptight person. But there have been companies that I'm sure saw stand-up comedian and were like, not for us.
Well, today, the bigger thing is everybody looks at your LinkedIn. Everybody's looking at your profile, your social media. You can't hide it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because you
I
couldn't be a
can't, no
stand-up
matter, I know
comedian.
it's there. Yeah, it's
We
bright.
have to self-promote. I
Yeah.
think about that with my podcast. A lot of times I'm like, well, if I ever left my current employer, I wonder what the next one would say if they were like, so you did these
Podcast.
shows and, it was all about fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
I
no,
did that.
I mean, for me, again, I'm not your typical HR, so it's kind of hard for me to speak to it from a professional, appropriate HR standpoint, because that's just not who I am. I mean, certainly when it's warranted, when I need to be,
Right.
policy, procedure, I can do it. But certainly my least favorite part of the job, always. I really enjoy just I say I hate the people, which I do, but I also really like them. So it's what I mean. It's like mental. On one hand, I can't stand any of them. Don't ever talk to me. And on the other hand, I'm like, God, I really like these people, So
I get it. Yeah, no, look, I completely understand that. And I spend my whole day staffing. So for it, so my whole day is spent with people where 1 minute I'm like, I love talking to you. I got someone a job and they're happy and this is
Yes.
amazing. I'm so happy for them. They were in a rough situation. And the next phone call, I'm like, you're slowly sucking the life out of me.
Yeah,
Your
you're
phone.
so much more annoying than I initially realized.
Yeah, like there's a level of soul sucking right now that really I'm impressed. Like you've killed the whole room. So we got some questions already. So
Okay.
Amanda Love wants to know, does comedy come in threes? I'm not sure what he means by that, but like the jokes, maybe because I know like they always say
I was
celebrity
going to
death
say, are we
in
talking
threes.
about death? Because we have had a lot of comedians pass, Bob Saget and Gilbert Godfrey and
did you see in what's his name? The chubby guy. Louis Anderson.
Oh yeah, Louis Anderson.
Did you see that picture? Did you see the picture?
I don't know.
It was a picture of
Was he
Gilbert
naked?
Godfrey.
Please don't bring it up.
Huh? But no,
Was
that's
he naked?
different.
Like you won't bring it up, right? Right now and show it.
Gilbert Godfrey naked would be a scary photo, I think. But
yeah.
it was a picture that Gilbert Godfrey posted of him, Bob Saget, and Louis Anderson.
Oh yeah, like taking a selfie, like a
right. Like and I was like, oh, how
that's
crazy
scary.
is
that's
that
eerie.
For him to be the next one? Like he was
ew.
Now,
yeah, that's scary. I did see that picture, yes, and I thought it was very odd that they just happened to all be together, and then now they're all not here anymore.
They're all,
yeah.
And now Pat's got a great question, and this is something you said you started this way. You did a couple of open mics, but that's where you started at, was doing open mics. What do you think about people that are out there that this is something they're thinking about, besides the fact that you probably had the same answer I have. I want no one else to do podcasts because I just don't want you to get in my way. I need I need everyone to watch me. But what are your thoughts when people are saying like, oh, I'm going to do an open mic? What are some of the things you think about with that?
Oh, I think they should always go for it, and interestingly enough, so my mom actually took me to my first open mic somewhere in Schenectady when I was like 16 years old. She took me to an open mic and I would not get up. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to shit my pants. It's not happening. So she got up to show me that you could get up. Now she did go blank and she kind of was like, I got nothing, and left the stage, which is crazy because she is the funniest person you will ever meet. But it's not her thing to get up there and present it. She just lets out these zingers. She's hilarious. Her perspective on things is just so real and funny. But to get up on a stage and deliver it, it's not for her. But she was trying to show me, like, you can do anything. Like, if you think, you're funny, which I think you're funny. She goes, you don't even know how funny you are yet. And I'm like, I'm not funny. I'm 16. I'm just like cool teenager. I'm not funny. But, I was funny. I mean, I knew I was funny and I knew people thought I was funny, but I never thought I was going to be like a stand-up
that
comedian.
Same way.
Yeah, if you asked my friends in high school that I'm still friends with now, I don't think they would have told you they saw me destined to be a stand-up comedian. They definitely would have expected me to be doing something funny or entertaining probably, but I don't think that anybody was like, oh, Jen's going to be a stand-up comic. But also when people come out that I've gone to school with or work different jobs with or whatever that find out I'm a comedian and then they come to a show, they're like, oh my God, it's the biggest compliment when they tell me like, it's just like I'm watching Jen up there. Like, it's just Jen up there talking. And for me, that's huge because that's what I want to be. I don't like personas. I don't like when people use personas on stage. I mean, it works for them. It's funny, more power to them. But it's just not my thing. I just want to get up there and just be who I am and hope that people will receive it and enjoy it. And typically they do. I mean, they haven't all been golden, the shows, but you know, for the most part, I usually leave thinking, wow, these people really liked what I was putting down up there tonight. All right. You know,
you just named, nice. You didn't realize it. You just named your comedy tour.
I did.
You just named your comedy tour.
What is it? Tell me.
It's just Jen.
It's just Jen.
It's just Jen. Write that down. That's that down. Please don't ignore me.
Jen. That's please nobody's doing that, right? I can't because you never want to steal as a comedian, right?
Look at Amy Schumer. It worked for her.
Oh shit. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
I know that's so I've heard.
Well, see, that's like did you watch I'm a big TV junkie. I love it. The Marvelous Miss Marvelous Miss Mabel?
You know, I didn't, and so many people told me I should, and that's another thing. Like, if you tell me I should watch something, then I don't, because I'm just such a rebel. Like, I can't be controlled.
Do you know how many years it took me to watch The Wire?
Yeah.
and I'm from Baltimore, and people are like, "You got to watch The Wire. It's amazing."
You're like,
I'm like, fucking watching that.
You're buying into the hype.
Yeah, I was that guy. But
yeah,
the opening thing, The Marvelous Miss Mabel, you remind me with the whole stealing jokes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
is her husband wants to be a stand-up comedian and he's stealing from like Henny Youngman or somebody like that from that time frame, and he goes up and does his act, leaves, and she's like, I could do that, like I'm funnier than he is, and somebody else comes up right behind him and does the exact same stand-up act.
Oh,
because they were just reading off the albums and thinking that they could do that and become famous. I thought it was very, very interesting. But so I'm still a little bit mind-boggled. I don't want to I know we keep rolling back here for a minute. We'll try to get back to the beginning here for a second. So graduate high school, go to college for to get into being an HR professional. You know that.
No, that's actually not how it went.
Okay.
No, I know. Of course, I can't just have a normal story.
No.
No. So I went to school for early childhood, which has been very beneficial in dealing with adults because adults are like taller children. In some cases, some of the adults are smaller than some of the 3 and 4 year olds I used to teach. But anyway, I went to school for that because I was like, I want to work with little kids. I want to make a difference. I want to do something. It'd probably be so much fun. It probably won't even feel like work, you know? So I ended up doing that, and I kind of moved up through the ranks. Like when I got my degree, I went from like a floater when I was in school to like an assistant teacher to a lead teacher. And then I saw an opportunity for an assistant center director at a daycare center locally. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for it because I would love to be in a position where I can tell teachers like, you can't do that, or teach them like how they can do like one abuse move, like 2 abuse moves in one. Like I used to talk about like the choke and throw. Like if you just do it at the same time, it's like 1 count of abuse that you would probably be charged with, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to educate them on stuff like that, you know?
That makes,
that's not true. It is true. I used to say that, but
CPS might be at the door now.
Yeah, I never hurt the children. But yeah, so I ended up getting an assistant center director position, and the director of the center had to go out on an extended maternity leave. And I kind of ran the center for a little while in my early 20s, like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, but one of the parents liked how I handled a situation with him and a teacher. And he came into the office and was like, you ever thought about doing HR? And I'm like, oh, I have the early childhood degree. I don't know. And, you know, and he's like, well, you hire, you terminate, you do benefits, you discipline, like you could do it. I was like, I'll interview for it. And I got the job. It was my first HR job at a security company. I had like 1,200 employees all over New York State, 20 something years old, no clue what I was doing at all. But I think I learned it was inevitable not to learn like every piece of HR at that one job, because I mean, it was just me for 1,200 people all over the state. So I traveled, I did orientations, I did all their benefit stuff and everything, hiring, terminating. It was just, I remember my boss at the time said, you'll never do more in an HR role than you're doing here. And I'm like, he's probably right. And he was right. Absolutely. That was my largest employee count ever. And it was my first job out of the gate. But so that's actually how I got my foot in the door to human resources. But yeah,
that's going back to that's the saying of when we hit the shore, burn the boats behind us. You had no other choice. You were there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I loved it. No, I loved every minute of it. It was, it was great. And I knew then in doing that job, I just remember like a man came in to get his paycheck and I knew his name and he was like, you know my name? And I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh shit, it is Bob, right? Like, for a minute there, but I was like, of course I know your name. Hello. But it meant a lot to him that I knew his name out of all these employees. So it was those kinds of, I'm so sorry about this damn cat.
That's all right. Look, mine's found a bar stool to sit on it and is finally chilling out instead of trying to tear my leg off.
Trying to chew on you.
Well, that's his move. Is in the middle of the night he decides that he wants to be way more involved in my sleep, so he'll like just leap onto my feet and start biting at my toes and clawing at my toes.
Oh my God. I would definitely hoof his little ass right out of the bed.
Oh, my wife, he's done it to my wife and she is definitely like, oh,
what the hell was that? Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm assuming it's the cat at this point. We have to have two comforters on the blanket or his claws can get through there.
Oh my God.
It's a whole thing.
It's so cute. I love them. Like we've two and I love them, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. They're a whole nother thing. So you're getting into this, you're into HR, you're developing these stories.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you said it was 2011, so you were 25 at that point. So you're only 35 now.
No.
And you're
I didn't start the comedy yet.
Okay. Well, I was thinking,
that was my first
2011.
HR job.
And
that wasn't 2011. That was, God. Oh my God. 2004, somewhere in that range. Yeah. Yeah. I'm 45. I'll be 46 in October. I'm not afraid to say it because people always think I'm younger. So we'll just run with that.
Yeah, just run with it. I
have one contact in and it's my friend's contact. So it's not even the right prescription for me. So I really can't see shit.
You were kidding earlier when you were like, I got one contact in.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm like, oh, that's worse. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pirate Podcast.
Yeah.
Art for everyone.
I mean, it's blurry, but I can see it. So I don't even know what I look like, but hopefully it's all good.
That is so great. Yes, Nate, I can sometimes be an overgrown child. That's absolutely true. I'm assuming Amber.
That's my bestie right there. She just popped up. I mean, I don't know her. I've never seen her in my life.
Ring her.
It's her contact, actually. That's why she's laughing, because the last time I was at her house, I'm like, my contact's screwed up. She's like, you want to try one of mine? I'm like, okay. And I put it in and it helped.
Did she pull it out of her eye and hand it to you like, here you go? Like,
no, she had new ones. She had
that would be even
like couple. She gave me a couple, actually. But
as we get into eyeball, welcome to optometry hour here. I actually don't have to wear mine anymore. Completely don't have to wear them.
Really?
No.
But you didn't have the surgery.
I had cataract surgery.
Oh, and that improved the vision?
But it was only in my right eye. So my right eye is farsighted. My right eye is farsighted. My left eye is nearsighted. So my brain has just basically balanced it out.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. Like
I wish that would happen before I go and buy my actual prescription of contacts, which is like over $100. So I'm just kind of hoping hers would like just fix my eyes, but no luck so far.
I have all these contacts and I'm like, I should do something with them,
I'm happy to try them out and see if they're.
Would you like to see if they work for you? See if they work.
I guess I'm a contact lens mooch. I didn't realize, but that's starting to be the case. I think.
It's
anything to not buy them.
Yeah, it's a whole thing in and of itself. So at what age? So 11, 12 years ago. So you were still in your early 30s when you got up on stage.
Older than a lot of the people on the scene.
Oh, really?
And certainly I am now too. Like I feel like in the last 10 years or so with some of the new 20 somethings that have come up into the comedy scene, I sort of feel like I kind of have just become like the big sister or like mom role. And some of them are cute, which sucks because I'm like, I'm not your sister or your mommy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing after the show? Right. But, and they're like, Mom, it's embarrassing. Get away from me. But no, I have sort of just taken on that kind of like I don't know, I guess mama sort of role with some of them. There's just such
Motherly.
a motherly, yeah, which is
Motherly.
weird a little bit now
There's
that
a
I'm
page
saying it
for
out
that.
loud. But
There's an entire page for that.
there,
There
is. We might be on there. Some of our picks at the show. But yeah, no, so I was a little bit older coming into the scene and always wished I'd done it when I was younger. I mean, I was in my 20s when I kind of started to dabble, but I wasn't working professionally as a comic, I wouldn't say, until it's been really like the last 10 years. But I was dabbling before that with the class and some open mics and things like that. I was always writing. That's the thing. I would always be like, oh, that's funny. I got to jot that down. So when I was ready to start doing some actual shows and they were like, oh, can you do 15 minutes? I'm like, 15 minutes? Oh my God. I'm going to cry my pants and
just
it's
too much.
Be terrible. And then it just started. Now you just keep going up and increasing how much time you can do. So now it's like somebody might just throw me on for 5 minutes. I'm good with that. Somebody might ask me to do 30 and I'm like, whatever. Now I guess I'm just to that point now where, I don't know.
You've got your material. You can set your time. You know what you're doing. And see, this is one of those things that I know the first time it happened to me with anything related to my show, how I felt about it. What was that feeling the first time that, I guess it's two questions I really have. The first time somebody handed you a payday for doing it, what was that feeling like? Like, did that feel like, shit, I'm here now?
I didn't feel like I had like made it, but I felt like, did you seriously just pay me to do something that I just went up there and had fun for like 10 minutes and you just gave me $50? Like, whoa, I got $50, like you're just so excited about, or if it wasn't, even if it was like $10, I'm like, you paid me anything to just go up there and act like an asshole for 10 minutes? Like, how do I get more of these gigs? I want to be paid more and more and more to just get up there and be silly and like, just talk to people. And so that was a cool feeling though. I do remember it very well. And it felt great. It felt so great. I wanted more after that.
Well, what did that be? That was the follow-up there is, once that happened, did that become the drug to it? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it the reaction that, hey, wow, I can do something that I truly, truly enjoy?
Mm-hmm.
Look, folks, those of us that do these kind of things, we like our day jobs. We like what we do. Yeah. But I promise you, if I could podcast and pay all my bills, I would podcast. If Jennifer could stand on stage and pay all of her bills, she would. Trust us. We
definitely would. And I hate, I want to be like, oh, there's a million reasons why I haven't, but it's true. I mean, my life has not, and my own choice, but I just, I have my daughter, I have my mother who I take care of. And it's like, I haven't been able to really put myself, I think, fully out there, but that's coming, that day is coming. So I feel like I'm not where I'll be yet. I'm really still a work in progress, but what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking these shows that I get asked to do, and I'm using those as not practice, but sort of. I'm honing my craft. That's what we all talk about, right?
Getting it in there.
That is what I'm doing for when I can apply myself to this more often. But yeah, I would, if I could do comedy or anything comedy related and not sit at a desk and push papers. Yeah, I definitely would.
All day.
But it's never been. I shouldn't say never. The majority of the time, it hasn't been the money that's driven me, though. It's that feeling, that adrenaline when you're on stage and just the whole room is like in the palm of your hand and they're all just like hanging on your every word and cracking up and approaching you after and just saying that you made their whole night, or they've been going through something rough and you just turn their whole mood around. I think that there is, honestly, it sounds fake, but it's the truth. Like, there's no real price tag on that for me. Like, that's what really drives me. Like, I get such a rush from it. It's a release. It's a stress reliever for me. It's one of the only ones that I have, in fact, is when I get up on the stage, because I spend the majority of time with my daughter and my mother, my free time, and then work. So getting on stage is sort of like my social outing, really. So I think when I get up there and I'm able to just, interact with this room full of strangers that are smiling and welcoming and just loving what you're saying, I'm like, that feels great. It's euphoric. It really is, especially a good night. A shitty night, not so much. Then I'm like, where's the next tree I can drive into on the way home? Because this did not go well, But mostly I leave a gig and I'm like, And then I go to like Walmart. Like I'll do a gig at the Funny Bone to like a sold out room, you know, and I'm like, they're coming up, they want like pictures and shit. I'm like, you want a picture with me? You know, and then I go to like Walmart and get toilet paper, you know, and go
and get
home.
harassed by the lady in the yellow vest on the way out because you're like, she's like, "Where's your receipt?" I don't know. It's in this bag. Yeah,
yellow highlighter
even
strip on it. I don't know what is the point. You just
you
have to prove that you looked at my receipt. I don't know. It's weird.
And every remind me to tell you a Walmart story that is not appropriate for air in any way, shape, or form. Afterwards, where I was back home where I grew up in Dundalk. You know what? You ever seen that website where they're like Walmart, like things that happen in Walmart?
Oh, yes. Yeah, Walmart.com.
That's where I grew up.
Well, not Walmart.com, but peopleofwalmart.com. Right. Oh, yes.
That's where I grew up at. Like, I kid you not, the Walmart where I grew up at is every bit that Walmart.
The one in those.
Like, it's the only Walmart I've ever been to personally that has Baltimore County Police Department at the door. Not the yellow vest people. Baltimore County Police Department is there. Look, one of my closest friends, I've known Pat for I've known Pat 30 some years. Dundalk, where the mom fist fight was in Walmart. Yes. Hey, look, there's nothing the water in Baltimore is actually very good, Nathan, especially the Dundalk water. It's actually one of those weird things. We were actually at one point in time years ago when the bottled water thing started coming on.
Yeah.
Some guy, his company got shut down because he was selling bottled water or spring water, and it was Baltimore tap water.
Ooh.
But it was actually, it
tasted good.
Right. It's what,
but, it was probably some little shards of shit in there.
Yeah, like, look. Little shard will never hurt anyone.
Yeah, I mean, my lungs were just like all cut up, but it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
It's fine.
Dan Aykroyd, bag of glass. One of the best Saturday Night Lives ever. Bag of glass. Now and that kind of goes into another thing. So you're doing stand-up comedy. You enjoy that. You don't really do. You don't do sketch. You don't do improv. That kind of stuff.
I've done improv.
Oh, have you?
In fact, the contest that was many, many years ago, we had to do a lot of different types of comedy. We had to write a monologue. It wasn't like you just got up and told a couple jokes and progressed to the next round. They really made it very challenging and interesting. We had a roast battle, which I won. And I only point that out because I do think that's definitely a good area for me. I've roasted people. I've been roasted. I like being roasted. I don't know. It's weird to like that kind of, abuse about yourself, but I like it. And yeah, I basically this is what I said, and I'm going to share it on here because it's just so funny. I have to. The roast battle was happening and I didn't even have anything written for this kid, but he picked on me about my weight. Like he said something like, "Jen's so fat," some shit. So I said, and his name is Dan Rossi. I hope he's watching. He's not probably, but he's a great guy. But anyway, he said it. So I was like, "Oh, and Dan, by the way, just so you know, okay, I wouldn't suck your dick, okay, if you coated it in ice cream and hung a cheeseburger from your balls, okay." Just so you know. And it was just like off the cuff, and it really just like brought the house down. I don't know what happened. Everybody was like stomping and clapping, and it was such a great moment.
Let's see if I got the right button here. Hold on.
Thank you. That is, I really feel like I've made it tonight, Sean. This is like,
look, you didn't realize. Look at that.
Wow, that's quite embarrassing. Yeah. So anyway, funny stories. Yeah, I got lots of. Yeah, I like roasts. I don't really like the whole monologue thing, like on TV show. It's so weird. I'm a weird thing because, and I think it annoys, I guess, comedians that maybe take things more seriously that I've worked with over the years, that like they really get in their zone and they're writing constantly and they're fantastic. It works for them. I don't take it from them. I think if that's what you need to do and that you are constantly evolving and getting up there and doing new material, that's a beautiful thing. And they're fantastic. I don't know. I just am who I am. And I've just always been that way. And I think that, it either works or it doesn't, but it seems to work. And I don't know if I say a little bit sometimes of the HR side comes in where, I guess I'm a likable person. I'm a people person. I don't typically offend people. I definitely don't go near offensive material. I don't go near politics or any of that bullshit, mostly because I don't pay attention to most of it. But I don't go near any of that stuff. I just really keep it about like me, my life. Like I said, a little self-deprecation. I'm just not. I'd rather get up there and make fun of myself than someone else. It's just kind of.
That's your thing.
Yeah, it's my thing.
Now you just touched on this, and I was curious on your feelings. So we've had some very interesting things through COVID when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
From, comedians getting, people searching back to the dawn of Twitter to when a comedian was barely known, making some comment and being like, did you see this? And to me, I'm like, how long did you dig through their Twitter to find that? Like, this is a person who probably has like 10 tweets a day. They have a professional tweeter. I don't know. They have a professional person that does this for them.
Photographer, stenographer.
Photographer.
Yeah.
Is that we might have just created a new job. A tweetographer.
Mm-hmm.
It might be my next t-shirt. Might be my next t-shirt that I'll have to make. We did make them
perfect.
Did you see this t-shirt? This is Metallica. This is for Nathan. So he typed Metallica wrong, and then it turned it into a heavy metal mariachi band called Metallica. I have t-shirts made. You can buy your own.
I love
it. So we can get you heavy metal off of TeePublic. But what are some of your feelings with, that's not your style, but we're seeing guys getting canceled. We're seeing people digging through. I feel like Ricky Gervais is one of the saving graces where he's like, I don't give a crap what you people say. I'm done.
And he just really doesn't, right? He really, really doesn't.
And he's one of the funniest people on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate him. I don't really care. It's like another thing where I'm kind of like, another thing too is, so I do stay. I mean, you can't be on Facebook or Instagram or any social media outlet these days and not be aware of the big stories that are going on, right? They're just going to be constantly in your feed unless you unfollow everybody. I mean, you're gonna see things that have happened. And I don't really I don't voice much on social media about those things because I don't think much about them when I see them either. So it's not just like I'm suppressing, like, oh, I just don't want to post this or I don't want to go there with it. I really just don't want to go there with it because I'm kind of like, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't like when people are degrading or, mean to people. I feel like, especially basing any type of judgment on a person for any choice or anything like that, or any, whoever they are. That stuff I don't go for. I definitely don't like people getting bullied or picked on. I tend to definitely be somebody who would want to take up for a person in a situation like that. But I don't know that anybody needs to be canceled unless they're very egregious. And like I said, they harm somebody, or they really just take it to a point that's just not funny anymore. Now you're just harassing somebody. Now you're just being an asshole because you don't like how they live. Fuck you. Who are you? But I don't, I don't know. I don't like that shit. And I don't support those people. It's not, I wouldn't go pay money to see anybody who I felt was that type of a person. I'm not going to support your career, but I also don't give a shit. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to okay, you're just not for me.
Right. You're not my comedy.
No, but I don't know, but the cancel culture and all that, I get how serious it is. And I understand it's really kind of, it's a person's way to show their distaste with something anymore, is to unfollow somebody or to block somebody or to not support them anymore. And it's really kind of, in some ways, it's the only way a person has to show their distaste of something. And they have every right to do that. If you're going to get up and say something stupid, then you have to expect, the public to come back with
prizes. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about people unfollowing distaste. I think Netflix learned that today. They learned about unfollowing distaste.
Yeah.
$50 billion in a day.
Yep.
Ta-da!
That's a lot. Yeah.
Now Nate's got a question, and I'm going to add to his question. Who is your favorite comedian, but coming up and as you've gotten to this point, who were the comedians? Obviously, your mom If nobody's figured this out by now,
Yeah.
your mom was a big influencer on you in your comedy style.
Was and is like, and I know it sounds crazy, and maybe it doesn't. I liked comedians over the years. You know, what's interesting too is my mom is a 71-year-old white woman who loves, like, Chris Rock is one of her favorite comedians ever. And I don't bring him up just to bring up the whole smacking stupid shit. She really, for years, has always loved him. And, you know, and she's funny because, like, you know, he had some experience with the darker gentleman. And my mother says to me, why can't you go get somebody like Chris Rock? It's like, oh, I don't, yeah, Ma, let me go to his show and get in the front row and see if he picks me out of the sea of women that come out and, you know, fling their bras on stage and everything else that this man has to choose from a comedy show. I'm sure he would be like, spotlight on me, you know?
Right.
But she's funny like that. But anyway,
Lisa
no,
Lampanelli
she is
at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But no, she is. It's really, there is no comedian that I followed on purpose. I watched comedy from a very young age up, whether it was like old sitcoms that my mom would have on that would just be very comedic in nature and really show me what was funny to people, like the kind of like sarcastic, like Golden Girls, right? I mean, you can't grow up in the 80s and not think about B. Arthur and her frickin' zingers that would come out to everybody. You know, that sarcastic, just cut you off at the knees type of shit that's just funny. And you can't help but laugh. Even if it's about you, you're like, that shit was funny though. Oh my God. But no, my mother for sure is my biggest influence. You know, she's just, you just ride in the car with her and you're just cracking up. And I don't know if I appreciated it until I got a little bit older. As a teenager, I knew she was funny and I liked being around my mom and we did a lot of things together, but I would sometimes just be like, nah, God, quiet for a minute. But now when she talks, I'm like writing stuff down because I'm just like, she's just so damn funny. But I as a younger person, just sort of watching comedy, having not yet done it, I used to watch like Def Comedy Jam. I used to watch Comedy Central. I appreciated I mentioned Ellen DeGeneres because I always liked how she could be so clean, but make an entire stadium of people crack up because I'm not clean, you know, and I don't want to be clean either. I don't wish I was a clean comic, nothing like that. But I know
not really very blue. You're not like super blue.
No, not super. But yeah, I liked her growing up. I respected that I thought just flowed very naturally. And it was like, just like a friend up there talking. But you know, she really, you know, she was packing them in. But I've always, it's been my mom. It's always going to be my mom. You know, it's mom like it is her. She's just the funniest person you'll ever meet. She says whatever the hell is on her mind. She does not care. She's taught me to sort of be that way as well. Like, she's like, you don't know how to communicate. This is what you say. Listen, you dumb slut. All right. And I'm like, Mom, I can't say that in the office. Like,
that doesn't work.
But she is a slut. You know that. I'm like, I can't say that. Mom, right. So, but she's definitely.
Now, you know what's better.
I wish I had a better comedic name, but it's Mama all the way.
No, what's funnier is if your coworkers are watching, if one of them right now is like,
am I the slut? Right.
Was she talking about me? Son of a bitch. How did she know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that'd be even better. Oh, and it absolutely is nobody. It was just
it's
a line.
Not. No, it's not.
It's just a line.
It's just a line. And I have a bit that I've used for years and years and years about how much I hate my job. And when I started at my new place of employment, an employee came out to see me and I saw her at the end. I didn't know she was even there. And she came up at the end and I had talked all about, I hate my job. I'm going to shit my pants, keep people away from me. And then like, she comes walking up and I'm like, just so you know, like, I just started here and it's not about you guys. I've been doing this joke for like 10 years, you know, but I was like, and Miranda actually was in the audience and thank God she sort of vouched for me to her because she knew her as well. And she was like, yes, I've been watching Jen for years. It's not your company. I was like,
it's okay. You're safe. Don't worry.
You're safe,
like she's texting the VP.
Totally. Like, she's like, if you even knew what your new HR person said, your HR professional.
Oh, it's so good. So now, I mean, we all have our goals. I mean, I would think as a comedian, it's, you know, hey, would love to be on stage at Madison Square Garden, pack the whole place. Yeah. But is there any other goals that you've set for yourself? Like, hey, would love to be on a sitcom or like we watched Letterkenny live yesterday. We went and saw that at Palace Theater. I promise you, I laughed harder at that. And they had two of the actors were stand-up comedians. They did their bits, just a phenomenal. But is there anything like that for you where you're like, I'm going to get my SAG card. I'm going to, try to get on stage with, do any of those kind of things?
It's interesting. No. And that's, I don't have a set like destination. I have that. I definitely know that at some point in my life, I want my sole source of income to be wonderful and to be from something comedy related. I have dabbled with the idea of like bringing it into the workplace as a wellness initiative and different things over the years. And I've done that. I've actually been able to do that at different employers myself and bringing other comedians in to perform and things like that. And it's something that I'm still thinking about and working on. And I've talked to Miranda because, she's fantastic with helping you just kind of really
finding your way.
You got it. But it's just, life just has the twists and turns that it has. And it sounds like excuses and to a certain extent it is, but those are the valid excuses. There's just been a lot in the last 5 years that I'm just like, and not just for me, I mean, this is the world, but I mean, I've, outside of just COVID and all that creepy shit, there's just been some real heavy shit. And it's like, at this point I'm surviving, I'm holding down the day job. Thank you so much for being able to pull that off, being the type of person I am. I'm really, the gigs are coming in, I'm happy with the amount of shows I'm doing. It works for my life right now. But of course, as time goes on and things change and my responsibilities, lessen, if you will, in certain areas, as inevitably they will, as my daughter ages up and my mom, same thing. I do plan to be out there more and to put myself out there more just to see what comes of it. But I don't know exactly what I want. I just want to be successful with it. I feel successful now, to be honest. I have a good day job that pays the bills and then some.
You're on the Above the Bar podcast. I mean, you're on this show right now.
There's the Above the Bar podcast, which I've been dreaming about.
I understand that. Many do.
Here it is.
Many do. Many. But I was just curious, it's always been one of my things with comedians. I think everybody's a little bit different because I was thinking about like Jay Leno. Leno was, I remember when he was a comedian doing stand-up. I remember when he was doing movies. He takes over for Carson. He's doing that. And he was still doing regular sets. Yeah. In Hollywood.
Just showing up places and
just showing up. Yeah. And being like, Chappelle does that still.
Yeah, still day. Right. Jerry Seinfeld will just pop up
at
Gotham Comedy Club and do a set. And it's, I think that you don't. I think if you do it and you love it and you get bit by that comedy bug and you just like, I remember I used to be so terrified. I had the worst stage fright. Literally, I would sit there and be like, I'm going to shit my pants. I'm going to leave, tell them you never even saw me and just say I got a flat tire on the way. Like, I'm not going up there. And then all of a sudden life happened and things turned. And now I'm like, give me the mic. I was just talking to Quentin. In fact, we were talking about Quentin before the podcast, but I was just talking to him at a gig this past weekend. And I said that to him. I said, it sort of went from being like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. Oh, are they going to like me? Is it going to be funny? To like, let me at the stage. I just want to get up on the stage. So that turn and just life in general, I think has just made me probably a lot more fearless than I used to be. Now I'm sort of like, there's really nothing. I'm not really scared of anything anymore. So that could be dangerous, but it could also be powerful. So I anticipate a lot of things for myself in the coming years. Right now, I think I'm coasting. I think I'm just sort of flowing along and I'm working and I'm taking care of my family and my life. And when I have some more freedom, I do intend to put the pedal to the metal on the comedy. So watch out, everybody.
Nate wants to know, what do you think of ventriloquists?
What do I think of people that stick their hand up a puppet's ass
and talk for it? And talk
I like
for
them.
It.
I think they're fun. I think it's
I like them.
I like them a lot. I think it's challenging. I can't imagine being able to do that. Sometimes I think I'm like throwing my voice when I'm out with friends and stuff, and then I realize that the table of people is looking at us and that I didn't throw my voice. They know exactly where it came from. Yeah. The thing that I was making fun of. But I think they're talented, and I think if it's done right, it's funny. And I've seen some really good ones over the years, and I think they deserve credit for being able to master all these puppets and come up with. They still have to write. They're still writing material for the puppets. So I guess I would give them credit for being able to write for so many different
personas.
Yeah, exactly. And doing it well. I think if somebody gets up there and it's like they're like, and they just look like they're moving their mouth, and they're moving their mouth more than the puppet, and it's not funny, I'm like, you should not do it anymore.
I recently saw one of those where the guy, it wasn't like a Jeff Dunham level where it's like, son of a gun, that dude just doesn't, like, it's impossible. He's got to be doing something else.
Yeah.
But you could definitely see, like, he was like, oh, look, the puppet over here. And every so often, like, his lips would, like, do the wave, like, I'm like, and it just seemed like it was a vehicle for him to just say, like, really, really racist things, and people to be like,
plus you're like, is he having a stroke? I don't really know.
Right. Yeah. Like is he falling out at any moment, or is this just a vehicle to say really racist things? So people will be like, haha, that fabric said that. Like
that fabric, right?
Yeah.
Your hand is up that fabric's ass, buddy. So we know you said it.
It was you. Yeah. It was you. It was nobody
it was
else.
Totally you. Yeah.
And Pat's curious about this one. What does your writing process look like? Just ideas of, do you sit down? Do you think out ideas, or is it more on the fly?
It's really on the fly. And I might have said a little bit about this earlier, but for me, it's like if I'm with my friends, especially my funny friends that I know have really good senses of humor, which is all my friends, because I can't be around people that aren't funny, right? Or appreciate the humor at least and accept me as I am. But did you just do something like put a thumbs up or something else? Okay. Oh, there. Okay. It's just your hands. I was like, I don't know what's going on, Sean, but it's not that kind of show. I just all of a sudden saw it like floating up.
I just want you to understand, if it's floating and it's getting to that point, I'm doing a different kind of shows.
Sorry.
Totally different shows.
I'm very easily distracted.
It's all right.
Cock, not squirrel, but okay. So anyway, that was a weird turn. There's no way
squirrel, some yell cock.
Somewhere near that. I don't necessarily have a process. No, I know some of my really good, honed in professional friends do. And I respect them and admire them for it. And they've tried over the years to sort of bring me along, like, come on, let's write together. And I'm like, all right, but I'm probably not going to write. I'm probably just going to talk to you the whole time while you write. I'm just not, it's not my thing. But I have learned and accepted that, again, if you're going to have the same people, you can't always be doing the same stuff over and over and over again. And I do, and I have for years, guilty of it. I don't hate myself for it, because it's good material and it does hit. But it's very important to like grow that material, and also just to come out with some fresh stuff and show people that you are going to get a couple new jokes when you come out to see me. You're not going to have to hear the same, 15-minute set you've been hearing for 12 years. But if it strikes people funny that I think are funny, especially again, my mom, if my mom laughs at something, because she won't laugh. If it's not funny, she'll just like stone face stare at me. And I'm like, whoa, that one needs to go, but if it's funny and she laughs, I'm like, I got to do something with that. So yeah, if it's funny, if it strikes people funny, I do try to write it down and then sort of work it out in my head. Like, how am I going to get up and present this like to an audience, and is it going to hit the same as it hit to my group of friends that, I was sitting around with just bullshitting with, because that's how I want it to hit. I want it to hit like I'm just your friend up there talking shit and you think it's funny. And I don't want you to be like, wow, that was an excellent joke that she put together.
Phenomenal. And then it just stops.
It's nothing. This podcast is nothing without the sound effects.
It really, it helps. It helps, it keeps me honest with everything. But it's funny you say that your mom is that person. I tell you, I couldn't get up. I know I couldn't get up on the stage and do that. I know that's not me. I can introduce people. I have no problem, but doing the full set. But even like Roseanne Barr used to say that it was her sister. Her sister was like your mom. she would look for where her sister was sitting at in the audience, and that's who she told all of her jokes to.
Yes.
She didn't care if anybody else laughed. She knew her sister was going to laugh at them.
Yeah.
So she told them directly to that.
Definitely.
Does that have anything to do? Do you do anything in your process? Like, let me find the one person that they're just going to laugh at any shit I say. I'm just going to do the whole show for this person.
Well, not so much, but what I do is
4 years old.
I do exactly. Always I go right there in an instant. I don't look at people that aren't appreciating my humor. It's like, okay, I see you, bitch. I see you not laughing. I see you glaring at me, checking out my boots or whatever the hell you're doing while I'm up here. And I go right up over their head. No, it's a technique. Like there'll be people in the front row and there'll always be one asshole that's like, and you're like, what did you even come out for? Did you come out for
make
a comedy
me laugh,
show?
funny person?
You're not at church. Right. So I don't even make eye contact with them. It's like you don't even exist to me because I can't be thrown off by somebody sitting there stone-faced. You could be. I used to be. Not anymore. Now I'm just like, and at some points I'll be like, I'll stop the show and just be like, are you plotting my death right now? Like, what are you doing? Why are you staring at me like that, bitch? Like I just have to address it because it's so drastic. But for the most part, I just ignore it. Yeah, I guess you do have to be confident to walk up there and present pieces of yourself, funny, gross, sexual, whatever, something stupid you did. I mean, whatever the case may be, you have to be able to walk up there and freely talk about that and really not give a shit, if people appreciate it or not. But of course, ideally, that's the outcome you want. And I think when you're not trying too hard, it's the outcome you get,
But we want them all to give a shit. All of them.
I do want them to give a shit. I do. But I'm also like, if they don't, well, I still got paid, that kind of thing. I can't let it break me, I guess. There have been shows that have not been so great. I remember I did one show with one of my comedian friends and I ate the biggest plate of shit you could possibly eat. And then I had to sit off to the side, perched on a miniature stool that looked like I had a stool coming out of my ass because I was so much bigger than the stool. And I had to sit there on display at the front of like the banquet hall. And they all got to stare at me the rest of the night while I waited for my paycheck. And I was like, I should just leave and not even care about the pay. But it was just awful. So they're not all, like I said, they're not all golden.
Well, but let's talk about this because I want everybody to come out and come see you. If you're anywhere in the upstate area, you're around here. So obviously you're listening here. This is the biggest show that you've got coming up. Let's just call it what it is. But we've got here on Friday, if you're up in Little Falls, you got the Elk Lodge number 42. Don't confuse that with number 41. It is at 42.
Because there probably are a couple of them on each street, I would imagine. Well,
because remember, what was it? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The secret to the world is 41. That was what the computer spit out. So that's why that's funny. That's okay.
Yeah, that's my most recent one. That's coming up Friday.
And then you got
and that was the last thing to add on. One of the other comedians on the show is not able to do the show, so I'm a fill-in, but I don't care. Stage time is stage time, and
absolutely,
yeah.
And you get to go on stage with Albany's own version of Sal Maniscalco, or however you pronounce his name. You go out there with Pat. He's like the Albany version. The Albany version.
No, I work a lot with Pat. Yes, Pat. We've worked a lot together over the years. He just had me out. So funny, kind of a funny story. He had me out, him and Mike Gregg. I did a show in Rouse's Point, which one wrong turn and you end up in Canada. And
yes.
One wrong turn ended up having to go through customs. I was like,
no, you did not.
Oh my God. My daughter's got a hotel in Plattsburgh. I go 30 miles north to a VFW, which are fantastic shows because you know why? That's what they come out for, those shows at the VFW. They got $3 drinks at the bar. Everybody's wasted by the time you go on stage.
That's top shelf. $3 is top shelf at the VFW.
Exactly right. And it's the only thing happening in the town. The only thing.
Oh, so but if you go up to Rouse's Point, there's a really good soup spot in Rouse's Point.
Really? I wish I'd known that.
It's within walking distance from the train station. There's like this amazing.
I didn't know there was a train there.
That's the last stop before you cross into Canada is Rouse's Point.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
The Amish love that train stop.
Yeah, I saw a lot of little horse and buggies, which was cute. And then the next night I was in Tupper Lake at a brewery. So it was like, just, he's really had me out there in some in the wilderness. I've done shows where I'm like on a dirt road with potholes for like 10 minutes and there's nothing around. And I'm like, oh my God, I lose my GPS. And I'm like, I hope I'm going toward the gig and not to some weird forest harem.
Last house on the left.
Yeah, ill. Yeah, we've had some stuff, but they're great shows. They're great. But
you've got a lot of shows coming up. Tri-City on 4:30 in Binghamton. You got a private event on 5/12. That's got me.
Yep, curious. That's for a local company. I'll be doing like a virtual, which I don't love virtual shows.
Yeah, that's weird.
But it's like this. It's like you sort of feel like you're doing a podcast, which is beautiful. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm entertaining. I feel like I'm like, I have to like have a microphone and be standing. I can't be like.
Do you want to give them a copy of this and be like, here?
Can you just play this for me?
You want to play this? It'll be funny. You'll like it.
Yeah, that'll be great. And you get an added bonus of Sean.
Yeah, you get me.
That. Yeah, no, I've got some good stuff coming up. And, I have stuff that comes up last minute. I get thrown onto shows. And if I can do it, I do it. I'm not desperate for gigs, but I try to take as many as I can, and they have to be worth it for many reasons. It's not just about what they pay, but it's like if I think it's going to be good exposure, and I think we're all like that, unless you're very desperate for shows. But I don't feel that way. I feel like I got a good steady flow. I like the amount that's going on.
You've hit you're in your groove. You know who works with you well, and who you can go on with, and whose comedy probably works with your comedy. We're going to get ready to close the bar up here in a couple minutes, but I want to make sure that I tell everyone, go on to Instagram, go to @JenniferMC31. Make sure everybody gives her big follow along,
follow away,
follow. Take your friend's phone. Make sure you go into their Instagram and you follow.
Make them do it.
Make their 71-year-old grandparent do that. Get everybody involved in it. Make sure everybody's doing it. And look, that's the only way that, Jen becomes rich and famous. And then she gets, and I'm going to tell you, I have one rule, Jen, when it comes to anyone who becomes rich and famous that's been on my show. You have to invite me to one red carpet event. I don't care if I'm just have to hold your bag. Like who's the asshole behind her?
You would hold my snack bag? Is that what you're saying? Because I
bag of
definitely
snacks.
have to have a bag.
I would actually wear a shirt the entire time that says bag of snacks. And if they were like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I'm just here to give her snacks."
Yeah, bag of snacks. She asked me to hold them.
She asked me to hold the snacks.
I was invited.
That's what I do. To look them on the red carpet, bitches. I would still be that guy. Like that would be me. I have no doubt about it. I'm okay with being a crowd filler. I just want to be on the red carpet once. Like a legit red carpet. Like not like I don't want to be on a bogus red carpet. I want a legit red carpet.
Like a real red carpet.
Yeah,
well, you never know. It could happen someday.
I need like a real one. Like I'm talking Hollywood, New York City, Fu Manchu Theater, whatever it's called out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
I'm thinking that's not it, but it could be.
It's the man theater. I don't know. It's something out there in California, but like I'm talking legit. Like I want to go full out.
Yeah. So I promise. You got my promise on is this being recorded also?
Yes, it is. All this is recorded.
I got to play it for Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I have to fight her for the red carpet event?
I just want push her wheelchair. And then like strap the snack bag over the handles. That's what I do. So you'll be all set.
It's a win. It's such a win for me at that point. So I'm all about this. So we've got some shows coming up. Everybody can come out and see you. You're always posting on your Facebook, posting on Instagram where you got shows coming out. Yep. There's no .com. We're working on the .com. Yeah,
right.
We're working on that.
It's a work in progress.
Wink, 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 wink.
I know. I got to get all text. I gotta step it up with the technology.
But you know what? You fall in the same boat that I do. Like we do a full-time job during the day and then have family. And then we do this other thing where we're like, and people are like, you're really good at this. You should keep doing this.
Right.
This is really, and you're going, hey, did you share this to a bunch of people? Are you following?
You can help me instead of your advice.
Right.
You can get some asses in the seats.
Right. Did you follow my show? Did you share with other people? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, can I see your phone? Like I don't know if I have taken people's phones out of their hand when they're like, so you got a podcast? Yeah, let me see your phone. But for what? Let me see your phone. Here.
And you just follow yourself.
And I just go, bloop, here you go. You got all my shows. And they're like, oh, thanks. I'm like, what? You wanted to know?
Well, I haven't done that yet for fear of that reaction right there. Like, oh, thanks. I wasn't going to follow you. And then later you see that you lost a follower and you're like, is that bitch that I took her phone?
Yes. Yes, it is.
She unfollowed me the same night.
Yeah. Whatever. And then you know, and now you got to go fight him. I mean, it's the whole thing.
Exactly. Right. And then I roast her the next time she does come to a show, and it's just never pretty. Yeah.
See, now you're into my world.
Yes.
Now you're into my world. Way more annoying and violent than just standing up. For me, it's like, give me your phone. No. Perfect strangers. So, but we're gonna get ready to close the bar up. I gotta show you. I gotta tell you my story. My wife just gave me this as we were sitting there. Do you see this? Do you see what that is?
Merry Christmas. That is cute. That's a meaning.
National.
Oh, nice. Christmas yes.
Vacation. So I just got a Christmas vacation mug in not even Christmas month. I love it. So
that's fantastic.
All right. So you can't log off after this. I know you want to run away. This is
I do, but I'll wait.
You're done with this. Don't run away because I got to talk to you for a moment afterwards.
Okay.
And, we got some freebies for you, things like
that.
Freebies? Yeah, I give all my guests a shirt.
I love freebies.
Same here. That's
you got a 2X or
whatever you need, whatever you would like to drape, whatever you would need me to drape across you, I'll do.
Yeah, definitely at least a 2X. Unless they run small, then let's go with the 3.
We got everybody needs to come out and see you as we do on all of our shows. As we're getting ready to close the bar up here, the guest gets the last word. Oh, real quick before we do that though, remember folks, if you're just watching us for the first time, make sure you follow us on Facebook. We have the Above the Bar podcast Facebook page, our network page, the Earplug podcast page, our LinkedIn, our YouTube. We need everybody to please go subscribe to YouTube. If you're on TikTok, go subscribe to our TikTok. If you're on Twitter, do the follow. If you're on Twitch, do the follow. I need everybody to do these things because this is how if you enjoy Jennifer and you love her comedy and you've seen her stand-up comedy or you want to support her, well, guess what? She'll tell you, I post all these places for them. So when you follow mine, these people that you enjoy, more people get to see them. More people get to know that they're out there. More people get to see what they're doing. So make sure you're doing that for us. Make sure you go out there. Jennifer's Instagram, Jennifer MC, Mike Charlie 31. Make sure you, and it's normal spelling of Jennifer. Make sure you go out and you're following her Instagram. I should get a message from her that says, hey, my Instagram doubled. There's 10 people on here now. I should get something like that.
All 3 of the people that watch the whole thing.
Followed
me, I think. So that's awesome.
There you go. See, look at that. We're in there. So, but as always, my dear, the guest gets the last word. So what is the last word you got for us?
One word?
Whatever.
Or just the last statement?
Support
live local comedy. It's just so invigorating that we get to be back out there again and unmasked and laughing and just entertaining people. So if you have a chance to go out to shows, not just mine, I mean, I want to see people obviously, but there's a lot of great comedians in the area and a lot of great regular shows going on, and you should definitely check them out. Go to the Funny Bone, go to the Comedy Works up in Saratoga. You know, there's local shows all over the place, and Albany area comedians page on Facebook shows open mics and upcoming events and things. But yeah, definitely I would love to see people out on purpose to see me. That's always exciting when they're like, I came to see you. I'm like, came to see me? Oh my God, I'm a star. But so I love that, but support it in general because it's an art and everybody puts a lot of work and effort into it. And I think everyone that's performing regularly in the area truly loves to entertain people. So you'll have a good experience if you go out to the local shows and support them. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.